Welcome back to my channel. This is Andy Bug. My hair, it likes to have 50 million different parts, and especially after I first um, re-dye it or do something like that to it, and I just let it do usually whatever it wants to do. I'll brush it once a day at least, but right now you can't tell it because I just re-dyed it, but like after a shower you'll see some curl. I have like some natural curl, but it doesn't amount to much more than frizz usually, so uh, except right after I wash it, you might see the little ringlet curls that I have. I don't know why they decide they want to disappear, but whatever. So tonight I think Malkuth is going to do a rune drawing. I believe that it wants to do rune drawing. So we've already pre-prepared one. I'm going to just move over and let him in the driver's seat. Hello, hello, welcome. Tonight we are going to be doing a rune drawing, and Angela was thinking to herself, and she never really said it out loud as she intended to, but she just stepped over and let me drive, if you will. uh, like the energy is kind of a strange feeling to her, almost like Halloween. She often anticipates the holidays, and like she'll feel it early, and she still feels back to school, like the whole back to school vibe. It's been years since she went to even college, and yet she still feels that whole back to school vibe. uh, as she wakes with that sense of going to school. She hasn't dreamed about it recently, but last year she dreamed about it. Um, just that she never loses that sense of like that's a particular big time in a kid's life, when you're going back to school, and she still has that sense, even though she hasn't been to school in a long time. It's like a sign and signal to her. Now, you might miss out on Seuss if your well is clogged. The signs and signals that that Seuss wants to bring you, your divine self. And if it was reversed, and if it's reversed, that means that the well might be clogged, meaning that you don't have perfect alignment with yourself. Wherever your angel's making you uncomfortable, wherever you feel that well is clogged, it's necessary to get in alignment with your divine aspect. Uh, it's all good. It's not wrong to feel that way. These discomforts, these signals are signals to you where you're not totally clear with where your divine intention is. And when you do get that total clearing, you clear away that old. Where am I uncomfortable? What pattern do I have that is causing me discomfort? Causing me to center myself on the 3D and center myself on negativity and not have fun in my life. And will constantly the angels will constantly be showing you that, and it will cause some discomfort in your life. Those discomforts, be aware, you're not communicating clearly with yourself, so you need to clear that. You need to clear the unclog, but don't be harsh on yourself. It is timely. You're doing perfectly fine. Everything is right in your world. You are at the perfect place in your process. This is a perfectly divine thing that you're going through, because you need to shed all of the extraneous patterns that no longer fit who you are and who you're becoming, like a snake shedding its skin. So let's pull another one. Angie, she likes snakes. Once when she was about somewhere between 12 and 14. Her father and the rest of her family, her father was already a preacher, they were having some kind of auction or something in a car show, and the Snakes were there at that place, and the family was singing. The family was singing, so she was part of that, but she doesn't actually remember the singing. What she remembers about that occasion and what stands out in stark contrast are all the snakes, and they were behind these glass plated, like thick glass plated things, and then there were some people circling around with smaller snakes. And one come up to her and said, "You want me to put this around your neck?" And at first she almost said no, because she was kind of creeped out. But she's like, but it's just a snake, and they're so, they're a snake. So her curiosity about holding the thing, her curiosity about holding the thing overrid that whole caution that it's a snake. And she also had that sense that they wouldn't put her in danger by giving her a snake that was poisonous, and this one is used to humans, and all of those processes went on without her thought. The 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 thing that she remembers: do you want to hold the snake? Yes. Like, it's like, I'm kind of creeped, but yes I do. And then she liked them. She's never owned one, but she really really likes them. But they shed their skin, and they do that without conscious thought. And that's what we're asking you to do. Wherever you're clogged, do it without conscious thought. You feel where you're uncomfortable, and just act on what makes you more comfortable, right? Makes you more happy, right? Makes you feel like you're living your life more fully. Okay, the next one. After talking about the snake, she also another story she has of a snake. Now, they didn't really worship the sun, her and her sister, much, but when they lived in this place, 227 North Marble, it was like the most haunted. I don't think it exists anymore, the actual house there. I think there's like a restaurant or something right over there now, but it used to be a house, and it was a house for a long time. And when they were in, oh, we've just lost the train. Let's connect again. She's telling me, Angie's telling me, that house doesn't matter. She's so funny. Yes, let's get this room, because that house was an aside. So, right, though, see, she communicated to me that not to get distracted by her memories, because she has abundant memories, not to get distracted by her memories, and communicate what I mean and need to for the collective. Because, yeah, I got lost in her memories, and that's how it works for her. When she sees a memory, she goes right into it and feels it, and kind of gets lost in the feeling of that. And it was her that pulled me back. That was very interesting. Let's see what Rai, though, may have to say to you guys. She's actually very good at, and she's innate at this kind of communication. She's very innate at it. This is not the first life that she communicated in a similar way. It's journey, communication, union, and reunion. Right. And This room is concerned with communication, with the attunement of something that has two sides, two elements, and with the ultimate union that comes at the end of the journey when what is above and what is below are united and of one mind. Inner worth mounts here, and at such time you are not intended to rely entirely upon your own power. Instead, ask what constitute right action. Ask through prayer or meditation, through addressing the witness self, the teacher within. Once you are clear, you can neutralize your refusal to let right action flow. Not intent on movement, be content to wait. And while you wait, keep on removing resistance. As the obstructions give way, all remorse arising from trying to make things happen disappears. The journey is toward self-healing, self-change, and union. You are concerned with nothing less than unobstructed, perfect union. And that's with, like, the well not being clogged. But the union of heaven and earth cannot be forced. So you can't force the alignment. You have to discover it by letting go of patterns that aren't divinely aligned. You can't force the alignment. You have to feel in alignment. By forcing alignment, I mean trying to think it. Just think it into existence. How do I, it's like once you discover, like, say, one of the purposes that you feel like you have, don't overthink the how. How am I going to do it? Just do whatever you feel divinely aligned in the now to do, in every now moment. And you will find yourself completing the task that you need to complete. So don't overthink it. Because then that can neutralize right action flowing. Because you can, like, you might do something once you've overthought it. You might do something that kind of throws you a little bit off the path you're trying to be on. Now, do not be wary if you've done that. Do not be disturbed if you've done that, because, again, divine alignment works in all sorts of ways. So the divine can use that position that you find yourself in to get back onto the path that the angel wants you to be on. So there is no, like, wrong answer in like that, but there can be distractions that make it take longer than what you want for something to occur. So, as you saw, I mean, I got distracted by her memories because they are so strong. Oh, I do remember now, though, the snake. They didn't usually sunbathe, really. Angie was too bored to do it, and Dixie, her sister, her older sister, would get sunsick, so she usually didn't do it. But the people in the next door over had moved out, and there was no one there. And the siegrass, her father had cut, or her brother had cut the siegrass, one of the two, had cut the siegrass, and her older sister had decided, Dixie had decided she wanted to go and lay out in the sun listening to the rock and roll music. So I guess they would probably be about, I would call her about 17 and Angie about 16 maybe. And so they went and they laid out on the side, and the side part was cut where they laid, but very close to that it was thicker. And so Angie, by the time she got turned over, they were using the cassette tape. When it was time to flip it, it was time for them to flip over. So they just flipped the cassette tape, and Angie had laid on her front, and they're laying with her head to the side, and she's not reading. Instead, she's just sort of soaking in the sun, where her sister, Dixie, is reading. on her, and she's doing her back, and Angie's going, I'm just enjoying the sun. And then her sister looks over and goes, Angie, don't move. And Angie's like, what? She's like, don't move. And then he's like, okay, I won't. And she felt something kind of cold, and she's like, and then it was gone, and she's like, it kind of looks over and says, what was that? Because she didn't really see it going into the grass, and she goes, there was a snake on you. She goes, oh. And he's like, oh, it's probably just a gardener snake. It's not a big ass deal, But there was, because she would have heard the rattler, it was just like a common run of the mill like gardener snake or whatever. But still Dixie was like, it's on you, and she was a little like kind of pretty creeped out by snakes, and so yeah, Dixie was. But Angie was like, whatever, I'm pretty sure it was just a gardener snake. It's not a big deal. But there was the story. There was the other snake story. Again, she found she liked snakes, and one more time, there was another time somebody brought one for show and tell to school when she was in middle school, maybe, and she held it too. She had a lot of chances to be around snakes like that. Uh, Not until our movement be content to wait while we wait, keep removing resistances as the obstructions give way, all remorse arising from trying to make things happen. There we were. The journey is towards self-healing, self-chain union. You are concerned with nothing less than unobstructed perfect union, but the union of heaven and earth can be forced. Regulate any excesses in your life. And I'm not going to say excesses. What I'm going to say about that is those things that are not divinely aligned with you. If you still feel the need to do something that is not completely divinely aligned with you, make sure you're not doing that in excess. Don't do that in excess. Material advantages should not weigh too heavily on the journey of self towards self, but they will take care of you. I will negate a little bit what Ralph said there. It shouldn't weigh too heavily because you shouldn't be concerned. You should just allow God to provide, as Yeshua would say. You should just allow your divine self to provide. There is a flow, and the divine wants you to have it. They want you to have magical amounts, life-changing amounts. But it shouldn't weigh too heavily because you can't force that union thinking, I'm going to get united, and you're really not. You're not hearing the thing. You're not loving yourself. You're too focused on, how do I do this? Don't overthink. That's how you do it. Stand apart from even from like-minded others. The notion of strength in numbers does not apply in such a time, for this part of the journey, the soul's journey, cannot be shared. Now, you can communicate it, but how you unite with your own internal self, with your own angel, is going to be particular to you. Not to your lifetimes, to everything that has brought to the moment that you are trying to connect with your angel. Those moments that you are trying to connect. Now, it may be difficult because loving yourself, Angel's like, I thought I did. But she kept finding ways where she was not being loving to herself. She's like, well, I gave myself Cecil, yeah, point. And I gave myself you angels and my guides, yeah, point. But where she had not been able to find a way to love herself through the remembrances, because, well, to tell the truth, she started channeling us to save her own life. Because she would get a vision and we would discuss it. We were the only ones she would trust besides Cecil, and he wasn't equipped as we were as a unit to handle all of that. He was already handling enough with her new state of being. Then the visions that she wasn't quite understanding, that she had to go into more fully, he wasn't equipped to do it. We were. For the angels, we were her team. And we were ready to do what we were called to do, which was help her figure out why she was starving herself. There was a point that she actually became afraid for her own life, even though she wasn't intentionally doing any of it. That she was afraid for her own life. And that she realized she didn't look like herself without her curves. And she took a different approach. She was like, okay, well, what is it going to take to get my curves on me? And she ate things that would make her real fat. But it did not, because she didn't eat to excess. She ate what her body called her to eat, when it called it to eat, whenever. And she stopped exercising because it was scaring her how thin she got. And then she put back on just enough of the weight, and it was time to start exercising again. And she's happy. She's been in the same size for like 3 years or whatever. And her metabolism is extremely high, so she's going to have to watch it when she really gets into her dancing for the music part of her career. She actually loves endorphins and stuff, so she'll just, in the middle of, I'm going to do my exercise, now I'm going to do extra tonight because I just feel like it. So she's going to have to make sure that she keeps up with the amount of food intake she has. But she feels up to the challenge, and we'll help her because we will. We did the first time. Ta told her that he's like, I think you're anorexic again. She'd been talking about what happened in the past. And she didn't want to admit it for a bit, but she did, thank goodness. And now she's where she needs to be. Very healthy, exercising, eating what she needs to eat, and loving her life. Okay, so what else? Another part of the cycle rune, right, though, carries within its form the rune of joy. For now, the end is in sight. You are no longer burdened by what you left behind. Heaven above you and earth below you unite within you to support you on your way. That's your angel, heaven above you, and earth below you. That's your human self. That's that connection, that material, what seems to be matter, even though it's still just the essence of light at a heavier, denser vibration. These two things the matter, you, human, the earth part, needs to unite with that heaven above you, your angel, and that will support you in your growth. It will support you on your way to the new you. And each now you will make decisions that will support the new you, and on and on and on. A simple prayer for the soul's journey is, I will to do thy will. And by thy will, we mean the angelic will, the divine will within you. Such a prayer of intention is proper on any occasion, and is particularly appropriate as a preamble to healing. And what we want to do is heal that miscommunication, that rift, by communicating with ourselves, because there's no need to battle yourself. You should love yourself, and yourself should love you. And you really do. You really do. You're just programmed to think that you can't. That you're broken. You're not broken. No, you're not broken. You might be asleep. You might be just waking up. You might be having some kind of awakening. But you're not broken. You're not broken. You're faceted. You're a beautiful light being that Angela sees, and I get to see it too, as a rainbow in brilliance. Because of all the things it took to form you, because of all of the experiences that the angel has had on every level that it's had experiences, which is every level below the realm of Barbello, which is the all in all. So, anyway, maybe one more rune, and then this has been a pretty good one. It doesn't take many, it takes feeling. And this energy is kind of mysterious right now. She associates a kind of mysterious, magical feeling with Halloween, with All Hallows Eve. But it's really the receptivity of the new way. The angels are coming out to play. They're looking for any one of you humans who are ready to talk to us, who are ready to give us jobs in your life, co-create with us. We'll have loads of fun because it's what we're supposed to have. One more. And that is partnership. Gebo. Partnership. See? Co-create. Wonders how it works, huh? Love how it works. It's absolutely beautiful. Angela always has. They'll be talking about something, and she's randomly going to pull a rune right after her, and it's on the topic of what they've been discussing. So, Gebo, partnership, that is two. Drawing this rune is an indication that partnership in some form is at hand. So, you'll be getting opportunities, perhaps, because of this clearing out and this full communication with yourself. This unity that you are achieving will clear out all of any of the clogged old stuff, and this pure communication that you're having with your divine being is a partnership. And for some of you, it could be a love relationship or business matter. There's also a partnership. There may be opportunities as you align yourself with your divine goals. There will be opportunities for partnerships with people around that are of like vibrational frequencies. You need to keep yourself attuned to that, but not collapse yourself into those partnerships, because you need to remember to stay centered in your divine, right? Centered in your divine. As you're centering yourself in your divine, you also need to concentrate on making sure you're centered into the earth. So that, because it can be very, easy to be drawn into just these complex things that you're seeing and try to figure them out and then not actually live your life. So, so don't collapse yourself into the union, meaning you need to stay centered here. You're here to live your life here on earth and not to just dream your life away. Because you need to have those dreams, but you need to remember to bring that into form by making decisions and doing things, not just thinking about them and wondering about them and feeling, this lightheaded feeling of, you're feeling yourself out here as well as, everywhere else. You need to also stay centered on the matter of the human being that you are. And if you've seen something, a vision, because there's still one Angie has that she doesn't understand, and we can't really say for her what that means, but we can say that one day she'll figure it out, but she's not stressed about it either. So keep yourself centered on earth, in your human as well. You need to remember to be human. You know, the angel being human, but you got to remember to be human, right? And not to, collapse yourself into the union with it, and then not even really want to be in the 3D realm or even the 5D realm or in your body anymore. So remember that it's here. You're here to live the life of an angel, and the angel wants you to. But don't collapse yourself into that union. Live the life. You can collapse yourself into that union and just think about what it's like to be the angels, and then not make the decisions necessary and put forth the effort to do the actual thing. It's another distraction, really. So what you need to remember is that you're here to be in the human body, doing the divine thing, doing the divine fun. And so at the same time, there's another, but with it, especially with the human aspect of it, do not collapse yourself into that. Make sure that you are both on equal footing in the union, and don't collapse yourself into that union. Don't forget who you are, and remain stable in your angelic self. Now is not, let's see. Excuse me. Oh, here it is. Wait, sorry. This is the wrong place. At the same time, there's another aspect of partnership that you're being called to consider. For the path of partnership can lead you to the realization of still greater union. And this is the one we were talking about with higher self. But you need to remember not to collapse yourself into the power of the angelic self. You still need to live in the 3D, 5D realm in your human body and do the things that the angel needs the human to do. Union with higher self and union with the divine. The ultimate get of the root is the realization of the divine in all things. And yes, once you have found that inner divine being, that angel inside of you, you will find yourself seeing in everything. Everything. Even like a mouse, perhaps. Excuse me. Because it was divinely inspired, as you were. Let's see. The ultimate get of this rune is the realization that the divine is in all things. God always enters into equal partnerships. Now, while Angie doesn't really use the term God, she would be more close to using the term unconditional love or source. Bloom used it, and it's a good enough word. The God within. Geba, the room of partnership has no reverse, for it signifies the gift of freedom from which all flows all other gifts. So anyway, I think that is the drawing for tonight. And remember, unclog the well with proper communication to yourself and get in divine partnership. And from that, there will be openings and opportunities for partnerships in the 3D, 5D realm. Listen out for those, and do your divine hell yeses. Don't just seek for that connection. Find that connection, hold on to the connection, and follow through with the divine hell yeses. Follow through with them. Because you can overthink yourself out of following through in some of them, because some of them are unknown. Some of them, that they might be strange. So unclog the well, communicate properly with the divine self, get into a partnership where you can co-create your life. And that's all I have. I've been Malkuth, and I will step aside and let Angie back in the driver's seat. You know, I can't quite decide whether it's a driver's seat or a flyer seat. looks more like a cockpit to me, but than than a car. But it doesn't matter. It's just the images in my head. It works how it works. I've had fun. Yeah. Unclog the well with self. It's one of the easiest things to do because all that is called for is meditation. And I know I can't meditate. If you're having difficulties, start out with a guided something. When you get to a boring part, pour a boring part in there. When you get to a boring part, you'll find yourself tuning it out. And then when you start tuning it out, pay attention to that feeling. Because that's where you can start figuring out how to meditate. I would suggest something boring, maybe. You know, something that you're like, oh, I don't want to hear that. Tune it out. Yeah. You might be able to like tune that out and then learn to tune out like all of the other like accessory thoughts in your head so you can quiet down and heal. But more than hear, feel. It's a feeling. So just don't pay attention to the brain, even if it's thinking. Just don't pay attention to the brain. Pay attention to your heart. What does your heart say? What does your heart say? Figure out that, and then you'll know what path you need to go on. You'll know what your hell yeses are. And you'll know how to live your divine life, but only you can decide that. Because it is found within. And nobody can do that for you. Only you can go within for you. Well, I've had fun. I'm glad Malkuth came in. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.